You sit on the toilet, don't you? Use that as your meditation.
Not my wife, not your wife, nor anybody listening to this podcast has eaten a shit
Welcome
sandwich.
to Recovery Unfiltered. I'm Larry. I'm an alcoholic.
I am Rob. I am also an alcoholic. We are not professionals. There are no letters after our names. We know very little. However, you will hear the word God and a four-letter word in the same sentence. You will also be offended. So if you are easily offended, just pass us by. This podcast is not for you.
Our opinions are just that. If you don't agree with what we're saying, that's okay. We're going to love you anyways. We are not in any way affiliated with AA.
So sit back, grab a beverage of your choice, and get ready.
Let's go. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Larry. AA, NA, PhD,
Get it all out there.
CDC,
Get it all out there.
STD. There is no letters. We are affiliated with nobody.
Get it all out there,
How's
brother.
that? What else is there?
I don't know.
EDC, everyday carry. We're not affiliated with that either.
What happened to all my sounds? God,
I don't. Where's the baby? Where's the baby?
I don't know. Hold on. Where'd all my sounds go?
I don't know.
That's not fun.
Sponsored by the C word.
Damn it.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we are.
How come men can't really say that word?
I don't know. I said it.
Well, wait, we're not supposed to.
I said it yesterday.
Ow.
What is that?
That ain't
Stop
a baby.
it.
That ain't a baby.
I don't know what that was. I'm not playing with it now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I said it yesterday. No, I didn't say the C word.
Someone said the P word, and I said patience. And then I said, you better want to make
last
sure
night at the meeting.
You want to make sure which P word you're talking about. There's women here.
That was funny. Yeah, so we've had a little bit going on. John's, so I did I can't leave shit alone. I got to constantly mess with shit. So I was trying to move us over to Spotify to give a little bit more and do more, always doing more. I mean, I posted up on Instagram today. We just did a live one, and not live. We just posted. I posted us talking on a video and trying to always change things because it's like I said. I want to promote this thing as best way I can. I mean, I'm not a social media guy. I don't claim to be right. That was pretty plain on the video that we posted. That, but it's, but I'm doing everything I can in my powers to try and promote this thing. And, cause as I say, we try to reach that one person, and however we can do, whatever I need to do it, I'm going to continue to do it to the best of my ability.
And we got to help those people that not have to, have fucking
what
chaperones. I mean,
here we
the
go.
guy looked at me and told the whole room basically at certain areas of my life, at certain situations, I gotta have a fucking chaperone, bro. I'll get drunk. Like
we were gonna let this. I was gonna let you stew on that for a little bit longer.
No, go ahead. Whatever.
No, you're fine. Last night at the meeting, what Rob's talking about, there was there is a solution, and we're talking and going through some stuff, and something came up about triggers.
I brought it up.
Oh, you did.
There's no such thing for alcohol.
No.
There's no such thing as triggers.
No.
People always worry why I can't go buy that liquor store. There's not.
If that's true, the story I'm going to get into in a little bit would have been a fucking huge trigger for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
When life is good, we drink.
Right.
When life was hard, we drink.
Right.
When this was drink. That's the whole point. It was not nothing out external.
Right.
It was an inside job. The book says that. And then this guy proceeds to, no one else in the room, everybody else in the room knows what I'm talking about. But
everybody else knew so much that I was sitting there I reached over to Doug. I go, watch this.
Well, I saw you laughing. I saw you hit Doug. I saw the whole thing.
I go, watch this. Rob's about ready to lose his shit. And then Nathan stepped in and kind of bailed you out of that, thank God. Or bailed the other guy out of it.
But he basically saying there are no such thing as triggers. I thought the same thing, Rob, that,
right.
in the way Nathan did it was absolutely perfect. He didn't crack on the dude.
Nope.
He just spoke from his point of view and just nailed it.
No, he did a great job. You know what, Rob, and I got to say this before we go in there much further. You did that.
It's fun, isn't it? That meeting's fun,
it's I'm so happy that Oakdale Fellowship is letting you do that, right? Because there is even in the other book studies that we've been in, it's not really the way we do it is just the way you do it, the way you formatted it is, we read, and if we want to stop and talk, we stop and talk. It's a lot like our Monday night.
Yeah.
It's a lot like our Monday night.
It's a book study. It's not a book blow through.
Right. It's that same style of format, right? That, we read, we talk about it, you work through it. And Rob, you got such a profound, deep knowledge of that book that you're able to bring it in. And, the only thing that sometimes, maybe this is some critique for you, sometimes there's some, like the guy sitting next to me, I think he's literally really confused, right? He's like, what's he talking about, right? Because,
Jose?
yeah, I think the new Jose, there was two Jose's sitting next to us.
Jose.
The younger one, I think he was a little confused on some of the stuff because he's kind of like looking through this and he had nothing highlighted in his book. In fact, he may even had a book from the fellowship, and he. So I guess just some critique, we follow along so very well because when you start mentioning other stuff, stuff, we kind of have a little bit of a background on what you're talking about, but you go further into depth.
But look at Mike S. in the back. He was right with us. I mean,
no, for sure. He's new, right?
Yeah,
he's new.
But he was in it, and I get it, but I get what you're saying.
Right. I think sometimes that the advanced study, because it's more of an advanced study. If you look at it, right? We go to book studies and they're just book studies. They're probably intermediate book studies.
Read it, and then just kind of talk about what's on the surface.
This is you go into more of an advanced study of it because not only are you talking about that, you're digging from page 17, it refers to page 25 and it goes into this page and that page. Later on, he says this that refers back to that. You just, because Rob, you have such a good knowledge of it and you've got that damn photographic memory that you can remember that shit. That the study goes into a whole
but everybody gets involved. Once it opened up, I knew we weren't going to get past 24.
No. I'm surprised it went that far.
Well, but there's a lot of wooden reading once you get to that point, which I saw. But
I thought
once it opened up, I knew I was going to go back to a few pages.
Right. As soon as we went, I think it was right when I was done reading right here. No, this wasn't. It says, therefore, we were approached by those in whom the problem had been solved. Right. There was nothing left for us but to pick up the simple kit of spiritual tools laid at our feet. I thought we were going to stop right there. I even looked at Doug. I go, that's a great place to stop. And then I think they went on and read another page and a half. But when you
we're going to start at 25, which is good because at the end of page 24 is where Bill basically tells you he's probably placed himself beyond human aid. We're beyond human aid.
Right.
So the first power that poor idiot was talking, that's all we're going off of. The power of the fellowship, that's what he's living on. That's where his sobriety rests because he hasn't had a spiritual awakening. He's not resting in the power of God. That's why he's got to have bodyguards certain times in his, what a fuck. A nice guy.
No, yeah. And I go back to this when I say things, it's like, in fact, I wrote it because it says somewhere in there because quitting drinking was the easiest part for me. It really was. Not picking up that first drink is the hard part, right?
That's what takes the power.
But I don't even think about picking up a first drink any more than I think about, we talk about that all the time.
We realize it's not our problem. We got that power because God has now given us power over that first drink. We can take it or leave it alone. He can't at certain points.
Right.
He's got to be protected.
Right.
And that doesn't, as you listen to us talk, which is the same thing with the new guy, JJ.
Right.
I had a year and a half, and I go, what are you going to do different?
Right.
Same thing we asked Chris, Right.
What are you going to do?
Why don't they just say, I'm going to get a sponsor, work these steps?
Right. I seeing that man in pain last night.
We talked for a long while after everybody left. He was in tears and dude.
I saw him down there and I was like, there's no way I'm leaving here without hugging that guy. And, and I got up and I walked directly down there and I gave him a big old hug and I said, hey, you need to get inside here. You need to get a sponsor. And I said, that sponsor ain't fucking me. So I ain't here to try to pick up on you. I said, but you need to get a fucking sponsor.
He left without asking a man.
No, did he?
Yes.
Okay. So as he was walking past, Nathan was walking out.
Nathan talked to him.
Okay.
I talked to him.
So he didn't approach Nathan.
He didn't ask any, no. And Nathan goes, hey, he's my sponsor. And I said, and he'd be a great one.
Right. I was eyeballing Brandon the whole time. Right. Somebody get on that.
It's up to that man.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Grab somebody. What did I tell him? Don't leave here.
Right. Without a sponsor.
Without a man.
And he was leaving there to go to the hospital because his dad's in bad health at the hospital. So he was going from an uplifting thing where he was already hurting to probably something that's going to remind him that he needs to try and drown his pain.
Yeah, but Nathan told him, hey, listen, I watched my mom go through, cancer and I just stayed sober. So you can stay sober. Yeah. If you drink over one thing, let him have it.
Yeah, it was.
But he left there without a sponsor.
Yeah.
After hearing everything you heard, being in the rooms, year and a half, went out. Year and a half, when we asked him, what didn't you do?
Right.
Why didn't you get a sponsor work steps? And you left yet again.
Right, yet again.
You left this room.
Does that tell you that he's not done?
He ain't done.
Yeah.
Or he's just afraid.
Well, you said it, we move at the speed of pain.
Yeah.
That guy was in pain. It was bad.
Dude,
you could see it.
With Susan gave him a hug, says, I love you. But there's me, Nathan, and Susan left. And he's about ready to cry.
Yeah.
Yet you left there.
Right.
Without a solution.
Right.
Without some, without
a plan.
Yeah.
To me, it's a plan.
Because once you get that, hey, this guy's my sponsor, then you get one of us, this is the plan. This is how we're going to attack it. They always feel better because they feel like they're, which they are. Take them,
and it goes back to our analogy. The way I use it is like, look, man, that cut, that pain you're feeling is wide open, right? The more that slice in your soul and in your heart heals, as it heals and it starts to callus over, the more you feel like I can do this, and I can do this. And before you know it, that pain is completely healed. And all of a sudden, oh, I'm okay. Pat said it best last night, that's that thing is it's your window of opportunity.
Nathan also talked about the window.
Right.
That window.
Right.
You stay here and you got the power of the fellowship and things are pretty good.
Right. Brad's talked about it, that he wished he'd have knocked it over the head when he first started. Right.
And yet that man left without, and I'm not one that like Joe and Charlie do subscribe to, hey, I'm going to be your sponsor.
Right.
No,
I'm with you.
Conquering that that little fear, conquering that fear is a great step that I believe they need to do.
I'm with you 1,000%, Rob. I mean, I had to do it on my own, and thank God I did, right? Well, I shouldn't say that. Let me back up. When I left Maynard's, Chris put me in with Jay. Well, but I knew that's not where I was going to get my healing from, right? That's why when I saw you walk into the room one day, I was like, I want what that man right there has got, right? And I took my sobriety in my own hands, and that's when I asked you to be my sponsor. And because, you said at the best you had 1 foot in and 1 foot out, but it wasn't 1 foot in sobriety and 1 foot back into drinking. It was 1 foot in sobriety and 1 foot into fucking eating a bullet because you were going batshit fucking crazy.
Right. I didn't have any solution yet.
Right. And I was so green. When I switched over to you, I was still so thirsty and hungry. I hadn't hit where you were at, like going that crazy spot yet.
But you were frustrated.
I was frustrated. Yeah. I had to go. Yeah. I needed more of the solution, right? I needed to figure out more and more and more. And that's what like I said, that's the reason why I love that book study that you're doing. And, God bless you you do just an amazing job, and I'm going to continue to blow your head up because
it's not me,
I know it is. And I knew you were going to say that. And I just
get to, again, and God placed it because I wouldn't have, if it wasn't for that woman who asked me.
Susan.
Because no one else wanted it. She said, no one else wants it. Would you please do it? Okay, I'll fucking do it.
Did she ask you to do an actual book study like that?
Yeah, because Thursday night is the book study. She goes, no one will take over the Thursday night book study. Would you please?
Were they doing the book study the same way, or is that
they just read and
same way we do it primary?
They just read and tie
tie a topic into it.
Kind of, or they just read and then it was just kind of
Well, hopefully it'll change going forward because, like I said, it could be a little too advanced, and maybe they need to offer 2 classes. They need to offer
the last 3
an
weeks
intermediate and an advanced.
Maybe, but the last 3 weeks, we've had a lot of
return.
Man, Rob, this is so awesome. I've never got so much out of it.
But once again, I'm not.
No, but Jose,
not discounting what you got a lot of senior guys that have been doing this shit for 30, 40 years. They love it, right? Because they're going deep into it. They're probably learning shit they've never heard before, right? But you got the guys like the Jose, and there was another one.
So when we get back, like say in 2.5 months, when I go back go back through it again, which we will,
right?
Jose will get it.
Oh yeah, no. Let's rephrase it. Yeah, thank you.
If he's there,
if he hangs on, right? If he doesn't get discouraged, and I'm not just talking about this one in particular guy. And I'm also not saying slow down, Rob. Right?
Oh yeah.
What I'm saying is that guy, if he wants to get more into this, and I say this about athletes, anybody. If you want to get better at something, it's what you do when nobody's watching, right? When he need to take what you were talking about. Go home and read it again himself and try to pull out what you were talking about. I make notes. I make notes all the time, right? Because I want to learn, right? We highlight, we do the things that we do. And that's why, I sat there with my book open that entire time, next to him, and I'm looking over at his, and he has no highlights. And I'm pretty sure it was his own book. I don't think it was a fellowship book. And he's got no highlights. He's got no notes. And
he's got no sponsor.
Oh, he doesn't.
Not that I know of. He may have a sponsor in name only, but he's in and out,
Right.
in and out.
Right.
He ain't doing the deal.
Right. Gabe's doing good.
Gabe's doing good. Gabe's on fire. Well, he's hungry.
Yeah,
and Brandon's laid out, hey, listen, we're going to start moving.
Right.
He's got his 5th step done. They did that yesterday. So Brandon, doing it.
Yeah, Gabe looks good. I enjoy. He came up to me yesterday, wanted to know, hey, I got all this free time in the day, and I hear you and Rob do a podcast. What podcast is it? And I gave him the name, and I said, here, let me just forward it to you. So I sent it to him, and he's like, I go, there's probably about, let's see, we're on episode 30. I said, there's probably about almost 50 hours of listening in there. And he's like, really? I go, yeah, there's 20 hour, 30 per episode, and we got 30 episodes in there. So, yeah. So hopefully, and here's the thing about it.
Man, he doesn't even recognize, I don't think, Gabe. Look at his eyes.
Who?
Gabe. I mean, look at the light.
Oh, I told him that last night. 9-day difference from the night he walked in to when he was puking.
Puking. Oh yeah.
When he walked in to listen to you.
Of course, he looks
speak,
different from them, but
right.
isn't that something? The power of God and the power of this program. That's why I do it.
Right. Right. And for me, when I look down at the end of the table and I see that guy just broken, and I want to see that, and here's where I have the hardest time is I want to take every ounce of my energy. And when I first got sober, I did this, right? I took every ounce of my energy and I put it all into that one person. And I was chasing him and trying to get him to
force him into, I'm going to try to force him to get what he's got.
Right. Well, I wanted him to feel what I got. Right. I want everybody to feel what I got.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, if you really, that's why it was the pastor when we went to that men's retreat. He goes, if someone truly believes, in Christ or that you've got this gift, they believe it because they go share it. They want to give it away like we do. I know this gift.
Yeah.
I want that guy at the end, but he didn't want it. I just don't. What can you tell him? That's why Brandon, tell this guy in 120 days you can go from that JJ to what this guy's got. Get a sponsor with the steps.
Right. I went to the doctor today. She asked me, "Do you drink alcohol?" And I just held up my arm like this. She goes, "Apparently not." Nope. Pretty sober out loud, sweetheart.
This is the doctor that.
No, I don't want to get into that on this episode. I'm going to talk about it a little bit on the next episode. But
okay.
That is that's something I'm going to talk about next week. But the other thing I wanted to talk about real fast is, we have such an eclectic group of guys. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
We have
that's a good word.
Big group of guys that we hang out with, and in the beginning of There Is a Solution, it talks about, all these different people that are coming in from all different ways of life. And, and I don't want to sound like I'm judging, but, we talk about, there's just so many different people that are in, class of people, ethnicity, and, different levels of, I don't know how to say it, but financial, right?
It's
different, everything. But when we go inside those rooms,
nothing matters.
Nothing.
Matters. Well, and the way Bill ties it to, like a great liner, because in the 1930s, the way you got from, continent to continent was the ocean liner.
Right.
There wasn't no planes yet.
Right.
And you can, and this is short, 1912 was the Titanic.
Right.
And he talks about the great ocean liner, he talks about steerage.
Right.
Where's the steerage? The steerage is in the bottom.
Right.
The captain's table.
Right.
And if on an ocean liner, the person in the steerage department who's living there, they don't get no fresh air. It's like the cheese sandwich.
Well, it says a word in there that I actually had to look
camaraderie?
up. The pervade.
Pervade.
Right. Yeah. I had to actually look that up, and it says it right. We are people who are normally would not mix, but they're no, that's not words. Yeah, it's right here. We are people who normally would not mix, but they're oh my God, but they're holy cow, but there exists among us a fellowship, a friendliness and an understanding which is undescribably wonderful. We are like passengers of a great liner the moment after rescue from a shipwreck, when camaraderie, joyousness, and democracy pervade
the vessel
from steerage. Yeah,
all the way. So that
all the way.
So now, but if you don't know,
and so that pervade, I actually wrote the definition up here because I wanted to see what the actual definition is: spread through and perceived in every part. Right. Mm-hmm. The small the small bad cabbage pervade through the room. It just basically, it soured the entire room, right? You know, and it goes to that thing that we kind of talk about. We talked about a little bit last night is when we went into, when I first went into recovery, the first, 10 or 15 days, I was looking through everybody.
Look at the differences.
Looking at everybody and going,
judging them.
I don't belong here. I didn't rob from nobody. I didn't steal from nobody. I didn't lose my wife. I didn't lose my kids. I didn't go to jail. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Why the fuck am I here? Till about day 15 when I realized I was a bigger drunk than almost everybody in there, and I was more fucked up in the head than just about everybody in there. I just didn't do anything to get caught, right?
Right. No, yet a lot of the yets hadn't
happened.
happened.
My yets were just a mile long. I didn't have and I'm going to keep those yets for the rest of my life. I don't ever plan on going back to that.
And that's the one thing, once you get to AA and you buy into that, you realize whoever comes in, no matter their lawyer, whether from Yale or jail, all that bullshit.
Yale or jail. I always enjoy that one.
They say that they've got a common problem, just like me. They're alcoholic.
Right.
Now let's see if we can't get them that common solution, which really binds us together. Because the look when you see someone from the fellowship, if you're in the grocery store, you look like if it's you or one of the boys that it's not necessarily with us, or if you see Bruce, you'd kind of get that. It's not because they're alcoholics, it's because they've also had that spiritual experience.
Oh yeah.
That's what binds us. You see a dude that just comes in and out, you don't have that same bond.
Right.
That's what Bill talks about.
And one of the biggest things that I really try sometimes I'll walk into a meeting that's, like when I'm traveling or something like that, I'll walk into a meeting where nobody knows me, and the first thought to them is, here's a newbie, right? Yeah. It's not that there's
even though they should know this motherfucker's got a watch on, right? He's clean, he's dressed good, his eyes are
they think I'm a newbie.
His eyes are lit, they should be able to recognize this.
Right. So,
but they don't know, they just assume.
I do too. Assume, right? So you're cautious. I'm cautious of when people come into the rooms. That JJ last night, it was evident that he was struggling.
Oh yeah.
Right. You can see the difference in their faces when they come in and sit down with somebody that's actually
unshaven kind of. He was
not even the unshaven, just in their eyes.
He's in pain.
In their eyes. There's just so much pain there that it's just that. And then when you hear him speak, you can just hear that pain in his voice.
I don't want to lose my kids.
I don't want
So something going on, but yet, fuck, you've got everybody. Focused on you. I mean, and trying to be and telling you this is what you need to do, and yet you left there. Here's where Rob. I hope for the guy, I really do. But here's where Rob has no fucking sympathy. You were raised in the rooms. Right. You said it.
He did. You watched his dad go through it.
In and out. You watched your dad go in and out. Then you went in and out. A year and a half sober, came back. And I'm sitting here as the chairperson of the meeting.
Right.
What didn't you do, young man? Oh, I didn't get a sponsor work the steps. I didn't do this deal. He's sitting right there. He's sitting right in front of the steps. Didn't do this deal. These men are giving you advice. Yet you left there. You chose to leave there without a sponsor.
Right.
I have no sympathy for you.
Nope.
None.
I used to.
I hope if you come and ask me, I'll help him.
Right.
But right now, as he left, and I'm talking to him, and I'm not going to force myself upon anybody, and no one else did, which I appreciate. I have no fucking sympathy for you.
Right. Were you like that when you first got into the rooms, though?
Yes.
Were you really? Yep. Yeah. See, it took me a little bit.
I wasn't going to force myself on anybody. I believe you should go ask for a sponsor.
You believe that right away.
Right away.
Yeah. So when I first got into the rooms,
Joe and Charlie, they don't believe that. Which I love Joe and Charlie.
I know. So do I.
There are some people that don't believe that. Hey, go get a hold of him. You are responsible.
Right.
He's responsible for his sobriety.
Right. No, and you and I are on the same page.
I told him the truth, didn't I?
Why? No, you did.
There's no way that fucker, if he left that meeting, if he gets drunk, dies, whatever, and he stands before God today, he cannot tell God, no one told me the truth, because God said, motherfucker, last night that guy did.
Right.
That whole room told you the truth, but yet you didn't act upon it, young man.
Right.
That's why you're here. Not their fault.
Right.
Your fault.
Yeah. So that kind of brings up another, and
God probably wouldn't use the F word, but he might.
He would with me. We had the going back to the very beginning of this podcast, why it got started. A friend of mine's, son overdosed on fentanyl, and one of the kids he was with, and that my daughter has helped out multiple times, they found him dead yesterday. Fuck. Yeah.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Fuck
Same
me.
thing. Same. Just part of that group. So here's the sad part about this, right? These 4 kids ran around.
Not kids. They're 30?
Well, they were, but they ran around together in high school, right? And after they all four got out, you know, the one was in the military. He had combat, right? He had combat experience. The other two played baseball in college, and the other one played baseball in the same college and went on to play some small minor stuff. And they all started hanging back together. And, you know, the two boys died together. They were twins. They they overdosed at the same time.
I think about them parents.
You're going to get to speak to her because she's coming on the podcast. Yeah. Yeah. I spoke to her yesterday and talked to her about coming onto the podcast to talk about this stuff, you know, because you know, what's our podcast? It's about recovery, right? Yeah. And her recovering from her son's OD has been a rough recovery for her.
Oh, I can't imagine.
I speak to her, and here's the sad part about it, right? When her sons died, I spoke to her. I hadn't spoken to her and I love her to death. She's just a wonderful woman, but I hadn't spoken to her in several years. But when her sons passed away and I heard about it, I called her directly, right? I didn't call somebody else. I called her and I said, "How are you?" And she was a mess. Obviously, a stupid question by me. And I went directly to her, right? Love her to death. When she passed away, she was the first one I called. "Hey, just letting you know this happened." Yesterday, when I got the news of the new one, I called her and I said, "I am getting tired of calling you only when somebody dies." And she goes,
"It's a kid."
Yeah. And she goes, "Well, stop doing it." And I go, you know, and I let her know, and she had a little hurt feelings to this guy because she had a little bit of thought that this guy was involved in, you know, and
her boys.
Yeah. And listens to this. So I want to be very cautious on, you know, and I want her to come on here. She's kind of halfway agreed to come on and talk about that. And, you know, and it's fucking horrible, you know, and those guys, that's four of them, right? They were all the same grade, same class, played baseball together. They grew up together, playing baseball together, played football together. That's four of them.
All on opioids.
The two were twins. They were twins and they went together.
Wow.
Right. So yeah, so yeah, when I got that phone call yesterday, I wasn't surprised, right? My daughter wasn't shocked. You know, Miranda, my oldest, and Eric, her husband, he lived with them to try and help him. He was here when when he came back into town, and, you know, my daughter called me and says, "Hey, Dad, he's at front of the grocery store." I went running down there and I pulled up and I go, "Hey," and he goes, "Coach," and he comes over and, you know, we talked, blah, blah, blah. And this is before I got sober. Right. But, you know, I still had an empathy of this kid. Right. And I brought him home and we shaved him. He cleaned him up. One of the other coaches came over. There was 4 or 5 of us other coaches that had coached him up through the years. We were all here. He ended up, you know, spending like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months with my daughter. My daughter, you know, moved her own kids out of their bedroom. So my daughter, I'm anxious for Miranda to come on here because her heart is as big as mine. So, you know, she moved her own daughters out of their room. So, that they could he could come in and live with them, and they took care of him and got him healthy. And then once again, as soon as that wound healed, yeah, he went right back chasing it.
You didn't replace it with anything?
Nope. You know, I don't know if I'd have done any good with a guy if I would have had some of my sobriety and some of my AA. Same thing as
again. Hey, listen, it's like the young lady you're talking about having her on with the mother,
right?
And of course, the question I would ask, if there's, is there a word? Is there something you could tell another mother? No, there is nothing any of us could tell that fucking guy in the back of the room.
Nope.
We told him everything. And yet he chose to leave without something that would help start saving his life.
And here's the fucked up thing about that, Rob, and you say that, right? And I go back to this. All 4 of them had beautiful family. Let me be careful how I say that, because we don't all know family lives, right?
Right.
But what I do know is they had
looking in.
Right. But what I do know is they had a house to live in. They had structure. They had food. They had everything they needed. Mm-hmm. That the parents were protecting them and taking care of them. So whether they hated that or not, they did have a house to live. They were not homeless, right? They
made
not,
choices and
right.
I got you.
They were not homeless whatsoever.
And I get addiction's powerful. That drug is powerful. I get all that. I lived it.
Right.
But there is a solution.
There is, right? There is. And it's, you know, and
it's not a casket.
No. And, you know, people are going to be listening to this after they listen to Heather. Heather was on last week, and, you know, you want to talk about somebody.
That was a great one too.
But I mean, let's think about that. You and I battled alcohol. You know, I had some mental depression, right? I struggled with it.
There's mental health comes with addiction.
Right. Yep.
There is a lot of, you know.
But that lady was dealing with a diagnosed bipolar, struggling, right? And she fought her way back from that. So if this program can do that to her, this program can do anything for anybody.
Right. And now look, she's on just a micro dose.
Of
which is awesome.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of people, a lot of heroin addicts. My first sponsee was a heroin addict.
Right.
Come off a lot of stuff from working this program. Right. But nothing takes place of your own doctor and taking charge of your health.
She took charge of her own, right? And the same way as
get knowledge, get educated on this stuff.
But it's the same thing I do, Rob, and I do it ever since I've gotten sober. Like I said, I still read, I still go in. There's more things for me to learn about this. And here's the thing about it. I say this. The more I learn in this book, the more I can share with our guests, the more I can share with people out on the streets. I want to be educated, right? Mm-hmm. I want to know when somebody brings up a situation with me, I can know intuitively where I can go, how I can help.
And at least be able to leave that situation feeling like, okay, I said all I could.
Right.
Because I'm never going to be completely satisfied.
Right.
Because there is not that bullet. Right. There's not the magic bullet that I could have told that guy in the back of the room.
Nope. Nothing you could have said. This goes back to what I asked Rachel, right? That goes back to what I asked Rachel. If we, you know, as a society of sobriety or, you know, therapists, a psychologist, whatever, if we could ever figure out key words, right? That
or give me some pheromones or something I could put in a spray and walk up to that motherfucker, spray his face. And there's it's called the great gift of desperation spray. Spray it right in his fucking face. Here. All right. You know, then it hits them. I got it. Then their heart breaks. They're fucking broken.
Right.
They're in more.
It takes them from almost
whatever pain they're in to what it's needed.
Right.
I can't leave here
until
I'm not
get
leaving
an
this fucking room until I have someone help.
Right.
That kind of desperate.
Right.
You put it on a spray, baby.
Right.
I'll hit everybody with it.
That's what I'm talking
about. And that's what I'm not going to stop looking.
No, and that, like I said, that's why I stay in this. That's why I listen to so many people.
I'm so frustrated about last night.
Oh my!
That meeting. That fucking guy chose, and I'm sitting there. I was the last one to talk to him.
Which one, JJ?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you got to get over it.
No, I'm over it.
Yeah.
But it's
right. I'm more frustrated with the guy that had the other guy that has several months or years talking about still having triggers. That fucking bothered me more than anybody else.
He can't get into exciting. He cannot put himself in excitement.
Then how do you come to an AA meeting? This is exciting.
Well, different kind of excitement. You know,
no, I know exactly what he's talking about, but
you got to have chaperones. I got to have certain people with me, or I'll drink again, Rob. There's certain there's not a fucking trigger.
I'm surprised you didn't say you need a better fucking sponsor.
Yeah, I don't think he's got a sponsor. I don't think he obviously hasn't had a spiritual awakening through these steps.
Well, do you think he went through? Has he been through the steps?
No, I don't. Obviously not. He's living on the first power, the fellowship.
The fellowship, right?
He's
talk about those two. You brought it up. Talk about those. Go a little deeper on those powers.
Wait, the tremendous fact, the feeling that we have shared in a common peril, is one element of a powerful cement which binds. Well, the first one is you read it. We are people who normally wouldn't mix, but there exists among us a fellowship.
Right.
The first power.
Right.
That fellowship, the power of fellowship. You come in, right? You put the drink down for a little bit. You feel supported.
Right.
You got that power.
Right.
And then people don't get into the second power. But then because Bill talks about this, there exists a fellowship, a friendliness, and an understanding which is indescribably wonderful.
Right.
But then he goes into we're like people of a ship who's wrecked.
Right.
Man, we get off and we're saved. It doesn't matter if you're from the steerage.
Right.
Fourth,
or the captain.
Or the captain's table, the first class, second class. Once you get off the ship, man, hey, because once you're at the Titanic, you guys are on the edge.
Right.
This guy's in his suit, in his tux.
Right.
You're in your overalls. Right now, you've got nothing in common. But the minute you fuckers jump in that ice cold water, holding on to each other,
Yep.
Now you
Holding
got
on
something
to
to
each
come.
other.
How are we gonna survive?
Right.
And you think that guy in the tuxedo gives a fuck how much money that cat's got in the bank?
No.
We're surviving.
Right. Surviving.
But then once that's done, once you have survived, and you were, like you said, you got some sobriety, you haven't worked the steps, and you're in that fellowship, that first power. But it says the tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution.
Right.
The second power, that spiritual awakening.
Right. Yeah, the common solution. I had written that on page 17. Yeah.
And the common solution is a spiritual awakening.
Right.
A psychic change, as Dr. Silkworth calls it.
Hey, do you think when people hear that psychic change, they think we're a bunch of fruitcakes for calling it a psychic change?
They could. But that's the doctor.
What's another word for that psychic change?
Spiritual awakening, spiritual experience. We go back to the appendices that we read last week.
Okay.
Bill Wilson uses two different things.
All right.
Spiritual awakening, spiritual experience.
Okay.
To describe the same thing. Right. Dr. Silkworth calls it a psychic change.
I'm not spiritual and I don't want psychiatrists.
Dr. Jung calls it a vital spiritual experience.
Right.
They all describe the same thing, a personality change to sufficient to overcome alcoholism. That's what they describe. Some of them like a spiritual experience, boom.
Right. You know what
awakening, gradual. But they all mean the same thing.
Right. You know how I've explained it to somebody one time and they looked at me like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. You know, have you ever put a puzzle together? And you know, a puzzle like jigsaw puzzle, and you're messing with these little pieces, and you're like, and as that puzzle's coming together, all of a sudden that one piece you drop in there, and you go, oh fuck, all these are going in that piece. That's kind of the way I look at it, as that spiritual awakening, or that it's like all of a sudden everything just makes sense. That's what it was for me, right? And whether you call that a spiritual awakening, however you want to, what does Ebby say to Bill, you know, whatever your perception of God is,
your own conception of God.
However you want to explain that aha moment, right? Whatever you want to fucking call it.
But some people don't have that.
Me, it was a spiritual awakening without a doubt.
Mine was more of a gradual.
No, mine was like it hit me over the head.
Yours is spiritual, what they call a spiritual experience. Yeah. They're all the same thing. They all are a personality change sufficient to overcome alcoholism. Right. Some are quick, some are slow. Right. Doctors call it this, but that's why the appendices is in there. Right. They're all the same thing. Because some people want to say, well, a spiritual awakening is X, and a spiritual, no. Go to the page 576, motherfucker. The author of this book tells you what he meant when he wrote that. They're the same definition. One is quick, one is gradual. Dr. Silkworth calls it a psychic change. Right. Dr. Jung calls it a vital spiritual experience. What it is a personality change sufficient to overcome alcoholism. Don't redefine it. Go to the author of the book. Oh, it drives me nuts. Sorry. Okay,
it's all right.
Done preaching.
It's funny that, like I said, that's why last night, whenever
you hear people, there's different kind of solutions in AA for every, there's enough in here for every one of us. No. Go to the heading of that chapter. Right. How many does it say?
There is a solution.
There is a solution.
Right.
That's what Bill says. A.
Right.
A. Singular, motherfucker.
There's some solutions.
Yeah. There's different solutions there for everybody in the book. No, there's not. Go to the top of the page. Go to the top chapter. What does it say?
That's funny.
There is a. That's what Bill says. This is our basic text.
You get so wound up, dude.
But again, this is our basic text.
It is.
Isn't it?
They fucking try to complicate it.
It's so simple.
Right. That, I think, is what's so funny is I listen to some of these other podcasts and people are just trying to complicate the shit out of this book. It's not that fucking difficult.
No, there is a solution. There may be, but we found one. We found a solution.
I said earlier that, it should be an intermediate and advanced. It's not that it's complicated. It's just that there's just so much in this book that you can, that if, I remember when I was first starting out, when they were talking about Bill and Dr. Bob, I was getting them confused. Dr. Bill, Dr. Bob, and number 3 was named
Bill Dodson.
Right. So Bill, Bob, and Bill got me confused as fuck.
Yeah, they can do that.
I was all over the fucking place. I'm like, which one are you talking about? Right. Mm-hmm. But once we learn it and get going a little further, that confusion is turned into knowledge, right? Mm-hmm. So when that confusion turns into knowledge, you understand things a little better, and that's what you're providing, right? You're giving more of that. But for somebody that hasn't, but when I'm talking about, when Chris was talking about it at Maynard's, I was confused, right? Because I didn't know. And so when somebody's confused, they tend to tune out. That's what I don't want to see happen to somebody. That's what I don't want.
No, I want everybody to get a hold of it as best they can.
Right.
But I dug about it because like last week, what was his name? He's been coming. He's like, well, you know what, Rob? I've read that chapter because he's been in that.
It was Bruce.
No, this young guy. He comes, not Garrett, not Derek either.
It don't matter.
Anyway.
His name was Frank, and that was his fucking name.
That's his fucking name. But he's come to our men's meeting, our Monday meeting too. He's a younger guy, beard. He goes, I've probably heard that chapter. It was Bill's story.
Right.
I don't know how many times.
I was there when he said it. I thought it was Bruce.
In my 3 years.
Right.
But I've never heard it like that.
Right.
Because now he's engaged.
Right. Right.
He got a little backstory. He got a little history.
Right.
And he goes, now it's come to life. Now it's real.
Right.
This real people, now I'm more engaged. It was basically, he didn't say that, but that's what he meant. I'm invested now because I get it. That's what I want. If it's, which was awesome.
Sorry about the dings. I forgot to shut off my email.
That's all right. And that one guy, those two guys drove me crazy. Not really. They don't drive me. It's just.
Hey, if I haven't told you lately, I appreciate you doing this podcast with me.
Fuckers. One guy needs a chaperone, a bodyguard. Because he's. And dude,
I love watching.
It was all I could do because if Nathan hadn't come up, you know where I was going to go.
Right. Oh, I do it.
Listen,
I was waiting for you to lose your shit.
We meet these conditions. Well, hold on. And assuming we're spiritually fit, which is what his problem is.
Right.
There's certain times in his life when he's not.
Right.
You don't have himself bottled in.
When he goes to LA, he's got to take chaperones.
Yeah. Or because he's not spiritually fit in that we can do all sorts of things alcoholics are not supposed to do. We must not go where liquor is served. We must not have it in our homes. Must shun friends who drink. Must avoid pictures with drinking scenes. Must not go into bars. Our friend, listen to this bullshit. God, my word. This was, and I'm thinking that and I could see you laughing.
Oh, I was waiting for you to lose it.
I'm waiting for him to get done talking, waiting for him to get his palaver out.
No, the best part, dude, and I don't even remember you saying this, when he says, I'm going to talk about triggers, and you leaned over and you go, do tell.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's when I looked at Doug. I go, here we go. Do tell.
And here's the answer. We meet these conditions every day. We do. You and I do.
We all do.
An alcoholic, who we all were in that room, who cannot meet them, still has an alcoholic mind. There is something the matter with his spiritual status. His only chance for sobriety would be someplace like the Greenland ice cap. And even there, an Eskimo might turn up with a bottle of scotch and ruin everything. There's something out of that. I'm glad Nathan said we did, but I was going to read that to him and say, young man, he was going to say his name. There's something wrong with your spiritual status.
Right.
You're not spiritually fit in those areas.
Right.
Let's get why don't you work the fucking steps?
Right.
And then grab that fucking idiot at the back of the room who's broken, crying. Every man in the room, we signed our names.
Was in pain.
I guarantee you, we gave him a list of all our names. Oh, I promise you that fucker didn't make one call.
When I was walking with him out at the end, I circled my name. I said, call me. I will pick you up to take you to the meeting with me next Monday night. Pick me up. Right. All right. We're going to get out of here.
All right.
Thank you for joining us today.
We hope you learned something today that will help you.
If you did not, come back next week and we'll try again.
If you like what we heard, give us a 5-star review. If you don't like what you heard, kiss my... You can't say that, can you? Anyway, if you don't like what you heard, go ahead and tell us that too. We'll see what we can improve. We probably won't change nothing, but do it anyway.
Hey, thanks, Rob. Come back next week and hopefully something will be different and something will sink in. Take care.
This has been Recovery Unfiltered.